what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lothringer's Garage. Today we're going to be talking about some of the issues I ran into with my front suspension revolving around the Mark 7 GTI front air strut and the total extended length versus the 911 body, and kind of some of the issues that I ran into and how we overcame them. So the big thing here for me was problem solving with this. It's something that I sort of expected to run into, but didn't really know how to get around it until the problem was kind of right here and I was looking at it with my own two eyes. So we're going to go ahead and kind of keep this one short and simple and to the point, but I think it's going to be really informative. You know, with building a car like this, there's a lot of challenges. It's not like there's a build guide for putting one of these together for the, I don't want to say the level of what I'm doing it, but I've really kind of taken pieces of a Mark 7 and Mark 6 GTI and then an air-cooled 911 and put them together and trying to make it all work in perfect harmony. And I don't think there's anybody else that's done that. You know, guys that are building cars to this level typically have aftermarket support or company support behind them. I do not. So I had to figure out how to make this work with the parts that I have on hand and some of the tools that are available nowadays. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so in the last video, we went over some of the components on the front end. So we, have our laser cut cross member from Cut Send that I designed, the Eurologic lower control arms. We're using Mark 7 lower control arms with a Mark 6 GTI hub so we can run the 18Z brakes. And we're using Mark 7 struts. Now, these are the Slam Series struts from Airlift. They're a twin tube design, which is going to be to our benefit here, and you'll see why in a little bit. So traditionally, in a GTI, our strut tower would be up here. It's a bolt-on, bolt-out situation. But for the 911, as you can see, we really don't have a strut tower. There's really no support here on the front end. And when we're trying to air this thing out, one of the biggest concerns as I put this together with these wheels, as you can see, the airbag actually hangs over the tire. So in order to move the air strut down, as you can see, we are well above the hood line. We have to be able to space that away from the wheel to clear for the bag. So after looking at this problem and trying to figure out a couple different solutions, I decided to 3D scan my knuckle so that I kind of knew the void of space that I needed to avoid, and started coming up with a couple ideas. So over here on this side, I have a 3D printed version of what I came up with, which is really just a blank offset spacer for the strut that allows it to drop further down. With the twin tube design for the airlift strut, it's got a little bit more rigidity in the shock body, or the strut body, whatever you want to call it. And it gets us a heck of a lot closer to clearing the hood, which is really exciting. So I have the spare mount over here. And like I said, this really is just kind of a 3D printed model. I'm going to go ahead and get these machined out of 7075 aluminum using a company called Craft Cloud. So I was able to upload my STL file, and they are able to machine it directly out of aluminum and ship it to my house. I think it was about $500 for both of them. So I'm not upset at that. And for how this thing goes together, it's really simple. I wanted to have a nice robust design. So this is all solid to go into where the blank is. And then it offsets the strut, I think it's like 75 or 100 millimeters. But it's enough to be able to clear our wheel and tire when this thing airs out. So we have enough room for the bag to compress fully and not be in the way of anything. So we're going to go ahead and get this strut out, and we're going to go ahead and install the spacer so you can see just how easy this is. So I very much like to live by the keep it simple, stupid rules. So as you can see, our blank just drops right into the knuckle. We have adequate room for the stock mounting location to tighten this up and also provide some extra support for our loads that are going to be here. The actual body of this is thicker than the knuckle, so I'm feeling pretty confident in this. There's not going to be a whole lot of weight up front either. And then we have two clamps here for the strut body. And this gets us a heck of a lot closer to clearing the hood. Now our ride height right now, the car is about 5.5 inches off the ground. So, our bag has about 5.5 or 6 inches of clearance. So I'll be able to maneuver our ride height based on where I have it clamped inside of the adapter. And I think it's going to work out really well. So I'm excited. These come in about a month. But for now, these PLA mock-ups should work just fine for what I need to do. Our next step is going to be building our not cross member, but our strut tower and starting to tie it into everything. So thank you guys for following along. Like I said, this is just kind of a quick and simple update video, but I think it's got really good progress, and kind of one of those things where you run into an issue, don't just kind of give up, just keep figuring out and working at it, and eventually come up with a solution. So thank you guys, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.